snow. Listen to your heartbeat, don't you know that I just wanna be with you? Say there is a place where we can go, where it's always shining like the snow. Listen to your heartbeat, don't you know that I just wanna be with you?
Good morning. We are headed to the Magic Kingdom via the bus because we have breakfast at Ohana's. We'll take the monorail once we get there and do our first character meet and greet, so that should be exciting. Hello from Ohana's. We just got seated and we just got our pineapple bread. I think it's pineapple bread right here. And you can see the great view behind me. And here we are. So they brought out the fruit and then all of this showed up. Oh my god. Mickey waffles, potatoes, sausages, eggs, ham, biscuits, and the syrup. This looks amazing. But so much food. How are we gonna eat all this? So for dinner tonight, we are at Citricos at the Grand Floridian. First time at this resort, checking it out in the grand lobby, and then also now sat down for dinner. A little early for dinner, 5:30, but we want to make sure we get back to the parks and close it down for the evening. So I will show you more of what we're going to be getting, but I'm looking forward to this meal. So I hope you enjoyed the video and experiencing those two very different restaurants. Now I want to start off with Ohana. For Ohana, I wanted to experience a character breakfast. Now there's another one that I was considering, which is Garden Grill over at Epcot, but I just couldn't get reservations for there. So I did get one for Ohana. The reservation was for 9:30, and we left the hotel around 8:30 and took the bus to the Magic Kingdom. From the Magic Kingdom, we hopped on board the resort monorail, and by the time we got to Polynesian Village Resort, it was about 9:15. So basically 45 minutes from the yacht club to the Polynesian Hotel. So bear in mind when you're traveling and using the transportation at Disney that you give yourself plenty of time to get from A to B. Now, as far as Ohana, what I liked about Ohana was the fact that I'd heard that it wasn't a traditional buffet where you had to get up and get your food and then come back to the table and all that such. This one was where you sit down and the food was all brought to you at the table. So you and your party and your guests don't have to get up constantly, go back and forth to the buffet and get food and all that stuff, and potentially miss characters or whoever's going to be coming by to meet you for that occasion. So I like that especially. Now, this reservation, it was 9:30 like I said, so it was kind of in the middle of the morning time, so it wasn't like right at the beginning and it wasn't towards the end, so smack dab in the middle. What we did experience is that when we sat down, we were given the coconut pineapple bread, which everybody gets. You basically get it when you walk in, the hostess grabs it from the counter and then brings it to you with your table. And so we sat down and had the coconut pineapple bread, which is very good by the way. We had the fresh fruit brought out to us, and then also whatever beverage you want is included in the meal. Shortly thereafter, the big platter, which was full of all the food that you saw in the video, came out. So it came out rather quickly, and I'm a slow eater. So I was still nibbling on the coconut bread and having the fruit, and then all of a sudden all this food comes out. So with that going on, I started noticing that in the corner of my eye, I saw Mickey, I saw Lilo, I saw Stitch wandering around the room, and I saw them making their way towards the table. So in between the food and eating, Lilo came by first, and then Mickey came by shortly thereafter, and then it stopped because of the fact that there was a parade. So you'll see you saw in the video that there's this parade that happens during the morning sessions. I don't know how many there are that happen, but the parades happen when the kids all come up and join Lilo, Mickey, and Stitch, and then I think Pluto's there too, but he wasn't in the restaurant when we were sitting there. And they parade around the restaurant, and it's kind of a fun time. Now, let's talk about the pros and cons of what you just saw and what I just talked about. First of all, you get as much as you care to eat. So instead of having to go up to the buffet, they'll bring you all the food, which you saw was plenty. And if you wanted more, they'll bring you more, but for just the two of us, that was a lot of food. We did our best to eat as much as possible because we don't want to waste it, and also we wanted to get our money's worth, but there's a lot of food for what you get. You can, because it's brought out to the table, and the food comes out rather quickly, you can really get in and out there rather fast. So if you've got other things to go to, fast passes at the park or other appointments or whatever, you can get in and out because of the fact that it's a buffet or actually, served to you at your table. You can get in and out there really fast, so that's a good thing. The characters are wonderful. So I got to meet Mickey, and I think that's actually the first time I've ever met Mickey Mouse, I think, in all the times that I've been at Disney World. So that was wonderful. Got to meet Lilo, got to meet Stitch as well too. Now Pluto, like I said, wasn't there in the restaurant, but I did see him outside in the lobby on the second floor, when you check into the restaurant. And he's waiting to do pictures with everybody, and there's a long line. So I didn't want to wait in the line because I thought that he was going to be coming into the restaurant and coming around to all the tables. Didn't happen, but not a big deal for me, not a deal breaker. The other thing I'm going to say about this whole experience is that the Polynesian is beautiful. It's a great setting. And so you have this tropical vibe. Lilo and Stitch definitely blend in perfectly. And Mickey's in his tropical, get up, and he even has a floral lei and everything. So the theme is wonderful, so it's great. Now, let me talk about the cons in all this, because there are a few cons. It's loud. It's a loud setting. It's not one of those quiet breakfasts where you get to the table and you're quietly drinking your coffee and reading your paper. There's a lot going on. With the food coming at you, with the characters coming by the table, you're getting in and out of your chair, taking pictures, doing whatever videos or you're doing. Parades are going on during the whole time. It's a lot of stimulus going on during that morning occasion, and I'm not a morning person, but it was fine. But I just wanted to say, if you're looking for a quiet, peaceful breakfast, this is not it. I have a feeling that Garden Grill over at Epcot is probably a little more quiet and reserved. I think it's less people, and the setting is just much more quiet. There's no parades or anything, but you still get the characters and you get all the food. So just something to think about as you're comparing the two and deciding which one you're going to go to and such. The other thing I'm going to say here as I'm checking out my notes is that when you're having a breakfast and you're kind of keeping an eye out for who's going to be coming your way, because you want to make sure you get good pictures and you get good interaction, it kind of breaks the flow a little of your breakfast routines. So I just want to call that out again. I think it has to do with what I just said, that there's a lot going on, so just keep that in mind. And the last thing I'm going to say is the fact that I think the food came out a little too quickly. You had the pineapple coconut bread, you had the fruit that was brought out in your beverages and such, and then the big skillet of all the food came out rather quickly, and I am a slow eater, and so I like to take my time, but maybe some people like to eat really fast, and that's fine with them, but for me, I think the food came out a little too quickly, and I think it could have been paced out a little better. All in all, it was still a wonderful experience. Being able to meet the characters, not have to go up and down and get your food. It was all brought to you. That's great. And, for trying something new, it was a wonderful experience, so I'm just going to say that. Now I want to talk about Citricos at the Grand Floridian. Now, we did Citricos at another day, so don't think that we went from breakfast at Ohana to the Grand Floridian and did all that. No, it was a totally different day, so I just wanted to make that clear for everybody. Citricos was, I think, on our last night of the trip, and I wanted to kind of save the best for last, which I thought it was going to be, but there are more restaurants coming, so you'll have to wait until I tell you which I really thought was the best out of all the experiences in terms of dining. But let me go back. So Citricos was at the Grand Floridian. We left the hotel a little late for our reservation. It was a 5:30 reservation. We didn't want to go too late because we wanted to head back to the parks and close down Hollywood Studios because we had gotten some additional fast passes. Another story, but long story short, I was able to adjust our reservation to an earlier time at 5:30. And so we left our hotel, the Yacht Club, hopped in an Uber to get to the Grand Floridian, and never been to the Grand Floridian, but it was a beautiful, beautiful hotel. Grand lobby, majestic, grand, and all that stuff. Kind of a throwback to an era gone by. And Citricos had the same kind of feel. The cast members and the staff were dressed in, I don't know what decade it was. It was just old looking, old style, nostalgic type of outfits. that they were wearing, but very colorful and appropriate for the restaurant and such. Now, Citricos, as you know, or you may not know, is considered a signature restaurant. Now, a signature restaurant is considered more of the fine dining. It requires you to put a deposit down, and if you cancel or don't show up, if you cancel too late or you don't show up, you're going to get, some money taken away. So definitely take a look if you're booking a signature restaurant. But the other thing about signature restaurant is that it's more expensive, and there is a dress code. So for gentlemen, you can wear, you have to wear at least slacks or pants. Jeans are acceptable with no holes. You can wear dress shorts and collared shirts, and no flip-flops, but just closed-toed shoes and such. Now, for this occasion, we actually wore dress shorts, and that's perfectly appropriate. Dress shorts are fine. Walking shoes and then collared shirts to fit to the occasion, so we're totally okay. So, if you're thinking about, I don't want to have to get dressed up for this kind of restaurant, you don't have to. As long as you look like that, you're good, right? So, the other thing about the signature restaurant, as I mentioned earlier, is that the price will definitely be more expensive. The price is up there. Out of all the restaurants and the meals that we had during this entire trip, Citricos was the most expensive. It totaled over $200 for 2 people, but because we had a cocktail at the beginning, you saw the chocolate martini in the video, so that kind of pushed it over the edge to over $200. But it was really good. The meal was wonderful, the staff was attentive, they were very friendly and such, and the pace of the meal was wonderful. It wasn't too quick, it wasn't too slow. When the time we were done with your meal, you had a few moments before everything was taken away, and then the new course was brought over. And we had appetizers, we had soup salad, we had the entrees, and then we shared a dessert, because at the end of it all, there was so much food. It was all wonderful, and we were just full. And wonderful experience overall. So if you want to look for or try a signature restaurant, Citricos is definitely one I would have you consider. And just enjoy the whole Grand Floridian experience. It's a wonderful place to go to, and whoever you're with, if it's a great special occasion or not, just experience it, try it out, but just keep in mind it is going to be a little pricier, but I think it's definitely worth it. So the big question is, would I go back to either of these restaurants again, now that I've done Ohana, the breakfast at Ohana, and the dinner at Citricos? Let's start with Ohana. So first and foremost, for me, going to Disney is not about meeting the characters. If I meet a character and it's not a long line and I just happen to meet a character, or it happens because of the situation, that's wonderful. But I don't go to Disney to stand in line and meet all the characters. That's just not my thing. So the experience at Ohana, while it was wonderful, I wouldn't go back for breakfast because I've already done it and I've already checked it off the list in terms of my Disney bucket list. So the answer is no, I wouldn't go back. Maybe I'll try dinner as another occasion, because it's a little different I hear in terms of course, the meal is going to be different, but there are no characters, but I hear everybody raves about dinner at Ohana. So breakfast, I've done it. It was a wonderful experience, but I'm done. Okay. As far as Citricos. Citricos, again, wonderful experience. It is pricey, but I feel like you really definitely get your money's worth. So the answer, long story short, yes, I would go back to Citricos. If there was another restaurant, if I've done all the other restaurants, I'd go back to Citricos, but there's still some other restaurants at Magic Kingdom and Disney World that I haven't done yet, like California Grill, so I definitely want to try that as well. But I would go back to Citricos if I was looking for another, meal at the Grand Floridian, and wanted something more of a elegant, upscale dining experience where I know that I'm really going to definitely get my money's worth. So if you're going to be, looking for a signature restaurant, definitely keep Citricos in mind. And if you're doing character breakfast, definitely consider doing Ohana's. It's Ohana's for breakfast. It's wonderful. I think the other one, like I mentioned earlier, is try Garden Grill. I've heard great things about it. Haven't done it yet, but I think it's probably on par in terms of what you get for breakfast, because breakfast is basically the same old thing in terms of eggs Mickey waffles and sausages and potatoes and all that stuff. So I hope that helps. I'd love to know if you've gone to either Ohana's for breakfast or Citricos for a meal and what you thought of those two restaurants. So with that said, before I go, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell because we've got lots more videos coming up, and especially we've got more dinners and meals from Primetime Cafe. We've got, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank, but Flying Fish, Chico's. There's also another one, I'm totally drawing a blank at this point, but lots more different experiences in terms of dining that's going to be coming up in our videos, so you definitely want to subscribe and click that notification bell. Like, share a comment, and share this with your friends and family who's thinking of going to Disney World, and also let us know what you think in terms of comment and stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. More to come. I'm Danny. Thanks for watching VRAI Magazine, and I'll see you next time.